We have multiple serving ideas with this tarka dal. I have jacket potatoes, so you can add the dal to the jacket potatoes. You can serve it with freshly made chapatis, or you can have it with boiled rice. I have a multiple of dishes. So we've got our recently done up pickle. Then we've got the yellow split lentils, and we've got the mung dal, and these have all the tarka. And then these are called bitter gout, these are called karele. So this is not something that I've prepared today, but inshallah, if you want to keep on watching, it is a recipe that I have already done. If you've not seen it before, then inshallah we will be doing a recipe of that shortly. So this is our menu of the day. Tarka dals, combination of tarka dals served with rice, jacket potatoes and chapati. So make yourself this treat and enjoy, and I shall join you again at the Busy Woman's Kitchen. This is just like a taster of all the dishes that we create, even though despite the fact that I'm a very busy woman, I like to keep very active and prepare all my homemade dishes. So do join me again, and inshallah, take care and have a wonderful weekend. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Busy Woman's Kitchen. Today I'm going to be sharing a dish with you that is actually, the dishes are already cooked, but I'm going to be doing something to add more flavor to it. And basically what we're doing is doing a tarka to a ready cooked dal. Now the reason why I'm doing this video is because earlier on I was in my son's shop, and one of our English customers came in and she inquired. She was purchasing some red split lentils like this, and she basically, her query was that how do you do tarka? What is tarka dal? So my son asked me this question. Now it's very difficult to explain what tarka is, okay? So better than explaining, you're better off just visually seeing what tarka is, and then you understand it forever and ever, hopefully. So we've got lots of types of dals here, and you can apply this method to any one of these dals. Now if you're a busy person, and that's the whole point of this channel, is called A Busy Woman's Kitchen, because we're all very busy working mothers and we often don't have time. So what I would suggest is, when you have time, say at the weekend, and you want to prepare your dishes, then this is something that you can do. And then the whole point of tarka is to add the flavor to the last minute dish to make it fresh. So you've got a cooked meal that is fresh, strictly because of the tarka itself. So what you're doing is, dals on their own, they take a bit of time cooking. So what you would do is soak these for a while, let them expand, and you know, the beans, let them swell up in size and so on. Once you've done that, left it maybe a couple of hours, maybe morning time or evening time, soak it in the evening and boil it in the morning so that it's ready, prepared. Now when you're boiling it in the water, you just boil it, drain off the water, and then just store it, and then you prepare your mixture of the tarka, and you basically add the tarka to the dal, and that will be it. So today we're not going to be boiling the dals, because sometimes you can have like a ready cooked dal which doesn't really have any flavor, and you can add the tarka to give it that extra flavor and the fresh taste, you know, so that it's like, tastes like it's just been cooked. So you know, these are just 3 types of dals that I've got readily available, and what I have is 2 types of dals that have been sitting in my fridge and I have not done anything with. This is mung dal, which is a whole lentil that's been soaked and then cooked. Now my daughter-in-law, obviously she's got children, and when she cooks it for the children, there isn't really that much flavor in it, and I like my food flavorful, put it that way. So I'm going to add flavor to this dal, and we're going to apply tarka to that one. And then I've got the yellow mung dal, which also needs flavor adding to it. Okay, so just by preparing this mixture, we're going to give tarka to both of these dishes, same mixture, and hopefully give them both flavor So for the tarka, what I'm going to do is use green chilies, a couple of tomatoes, one onion, a few cloves of garlic, and some fresh coriander, and then a little bit of salt and spices. So I'm going to chop all these things up finely. I'm going to use fresh butter in the pan to make the tarka with, and hopefully once I've got everything in the pan, we'll go on to give both of these dishes extra flavour. So in the pan, about 80 grams of butter. What we're going to do with the butter, once it's warmed up, we're going to take off the froth on that. That's the residue of the butter. You know, sort of like clarify it a little bit. Take that off and just throw that away. You can, if you want, you can strain it and take out the salt, the bottom creamy part. So that will stop it from burning. And depending on what butter you're using, sometimes it has a little bit of a residue of. Okay, that's sort of like clarifying now to a degree. Add the chopped onion and let that brown. Now there's a little bit of a cautionary advice that I'm going to offer you, and that is that if you have got, try and use a wooden spoon. Don't use a plastic spatula type, which are with non-stick pan. Try not to using one of these plastic spatulas. These plastic spatulas leave off some kind of a very bad substance where the butter or the oil will actually start to bubble, and I have tried and tested that, and I had a really bad experience with one of these spatulas. So I do not use that in butter or warm butter or oil. Maybe it leaves off, it warms up and it leaves off some kind of a, I don't know, dangerous chemical. Have no idea. Still have it in my drawer, but I've never actually, since having that bad experience, I try not to use it. Try and use a wooden spoon, and let the onions soften up, and I've pasted the ginger and the garlic and some chilies in there, so I'm just going to add those once. This is, well, if you want to use, even though that's a homemade fresh one, I'd prefer to use the garlic freshly mashed up. Keep the heat low because you don't want the onions to brown too much in the butter. Crush the garlic, just get the point of a knife, press it really hard, bang it with, and then just chop it up into thin pieces. It's nothing like fresh garlic. Finely chopped tomatoes, nice thin sliced tomato, that's what you want. Once the mixture is almost ready, onions are nicely softened up and brown. Add the tomatoes. And then let the tomatoes juice up. Okay, so this is called tarka. It's a fried mixture of tomatoes, onions, green chilies, garlic, with pure butter and a bit of salt, a little bit of coriander added in there, and basically it's all fried out. Now what I would do with this fried mixture once it's ready is I would take this out of the pan, and the boiled dal that we have to a side, or if we've got an old curry that we've got to a side, what we would do with that is take this out of the pan once it's ready. It just needs frying out just a little bit more. We want it, all the onions and all the, have like a proper distinctive fried flavour. So what we're going to do with this, I'll tell you, this is just full of flavour. So what we do with that is we take that out of the pan. And then take the dal, add it to the pan. Now what you've got to remember is this is just a small amount of dal, because we've got a small family and you can actually add the tarka to as much as you're going to eat. So if you've got boiled dal just ready prepared, you don't have to add the tarka to whole of the dal, because you want it fresh each time that you're eating. This just gives it, like often we have this complaint, we don't want to eat leftovers, and this is one way, a brilliant way of enjoying food which is constantly fresh. So this, I'm going to be adding this to 2 dishes. So once it's ready, I'm going to pour this in the serving dish. In the serving dish. And then in my pan I've got my other dal, which is the yellow split peas one. I'm going to do the same to that one. I think there's a bit of potato mixture in there as well. And I'm going to just let that warm up too. Now if you want it a little bit softer, that's just a wee bit hard, that one, so I'm just going to add a bit of moisture to it. And I'm going to let that cook. What you can do is add a bit of milk if you want it. Let this one just cook a little bit. Now this has got tomatoes and stuff added to it because it's already had some flavour added to this one. Okay, with this, what we're going to do is sprinkle a bit of coriander and get a tablespoon the warm ready prepared tarka, and we're going to add it to the center of that. And that is ready for serving, and that is my tarka dal. Now as you warm it up again, when you're ready to just serve it, or just ahead of time, then you can slightly mix it up, and that's it really. I'm just getting this all to the boiling point. If you wanted, you could add it in the pan. Now on its own they're generally just a little bit flavourless, but when you add that tarka, that just gives it the full flavour. So again, we're gonna just pour that into the serving dish. That is my 2 curry dishes with 1 prepared tarka, and both of them, these have their own distinctive flavours. If you wanted to spice it up more, you can add just a wee bit, pinch of black pepper. And that's it, ready for serving. I hope you've enjoyed, and follow these very easy methods to satisfy and keep happy all your family with these wonderful dishes.